Hey guys, I'm back with another candle review, and this time around it's for the 14.5 ounce 3-wick Blueberry Pumpkin Patch candle from Bath & Body Works from the upcoming Fall 2023 collection. So yeah, I was super jazzed about this candle because as you have seen maybe in my previous video, I said that this was a candle that originally came out and tested in 2012 and then it went wide in 2013, and now 10 years after we finally have Blueberry Pumpkin Patch again, and I really never thought we would get it. So I'm super excited to actually have it again, and I have burned it a few times. The notes on this read farm fresh blueberries, ripe pumpkin, and autumn spice. So yeah, after having burned it though, I do have to say, I don't know if there's like a nostalgia bias like playing tricks on me. You know how sometimes like maybe you have like selective fond memories of someone in your life and they actually in reality didn't treat you very well? It's kind of like that where you look through a past memory or fragrance with rose-colored glasses, or maybe the original candle had a really juicy photo label on it that enticed you a little bit more, or maybe the candle you used to burn it in happier, simpler times, and so it reminds you of a, I don't know, just a happier time in life. And then now you revisit the candle many years later, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, like it's not bad, but it's not super great either. And that's kind of what's happening with the Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. Yeah, so any case, well, what does this version smell like? It's still pretty much the same as the original one, but it just smells a little bit more flat and bland and generic than I had remembered what the old one smelled like. And the old one on cold still largely smells the same. And I'm just honestly not dedicated enough to this review to burn my original one from 2012 to actually do a comparison side by side of it burning. But I don't know, I just felt like the old one had a little bit more like je ne sais quoi to it, whereas this one's a little bit more generic, bland, and flat. And it really reminds me of so if you make your own candles or your own wax melts, you can buy duplication fragrance oils on the fragrance oil market. And there was a Blueberry Pumpkin Patch one that I came across and I bought because I was so excited about it. But then when I smelled it and like used it, it was a lot more flat and bland. And it's kind of like this is using that duplication oil rather than the actual real whatever Sake & Co blend was from 2012. I don't really know, but any case, it's I would say like 85 to 90% the same as like I guess what I remembered by memory. But what it smells like is you get heaps of a blueberry and blackberry fragrance. It's nowhere near as sweet and syrupy and like maple candied sweet and sugary as blueberry maple pancakes. The spice in this fragrance definitely tones down like I guess the sweetness you would get from blueberry, and of course it doesn't have like that crazy maple note that blueberry maple pancakes has either. So that's kind of difference right off the bat in case you're wondering about that. But you do get like a blueberry blackberry blend in there, and then you just get like kind of like a basic autumn spice blend where you get heaps of like clove and then a little bit of like a cinnamon spice afterwards, and it's like sweet and spicy and kind of like potpourri-ish at the same time, and it's just very pleasant. But I do have to say, just this version seems a little bit more generic than I remember it being. So if you recall like blackberry spice from years past, I used to say that kind of smells like a Glade candle. This kind of smells like a Glade candle or something you would just find like a generic candle aisle rather than like exquisite blend from a master perfumer. So it's just kind of like that version of like a sort of potpourri autumn berry spice fragrance that's a little generic, to be completely honest. There was Blackberry Bramble Tea that came out the year after Blueberry Pumpkin Patch went wide, and that was very similar to this fragrance as well, but I think that actually was quite a bit spicier than this version was. But if you liked Blackberry Bramble Tea, this is also immensely close to that as well. There's also Blackberry Tea Leaf we had one year as well. That is also a very similar vibe to it, but that was definitely a lot more of like an actual tea fragrance where you got more of those like kind of floral notes and a more prettiness to it that gave it a little bit more depth, and it wasn't quite as generic or basic as this version of the 2023 Blueberry Pumpkin Patch. So those are the closest things I can kind of compare it to. But I would say if you did enjoy Blackberry Spice or the Blackberry Bramble Tea or a Blackberry Tea Leaf, it's very much in that category of fragrance. So it's still pleasant and it's still like a nice fall berry spice fragrance, but yeah, I don't know. I would say it's kind of like if you also like, what is it called? The Perfect Autumn, which was called Spiced Cranberry Clove in the Wallflower, I believe, and also like for a hot second online before they changed it real quick. It's kind of like the Perfect Autumn is like a cranberry clove fragrance. This is more like a berry clove fragrance. Or if you like pumpkin clove, that's like a pumpkin clove fragrance, and this is more like a berry clove fragrance. So you could kind of like think of that as like a collection, and one's cranberry, one's blueberry, and one's pumpkin. So if you like the other ones that I was talking about in like the clove collection, you might enjoy this one as well. This is a fourth or fifth burn, and it's doing totally fine. It has the thick rope-like wicks on it. Make sure you trim them before every burn, and definitely limit the burn to about 3 hours, or they do start sooting and get quite vicious, as you can see in the footage here. This is like definitely ready to blow out by now. As for the throw, it also feels just a little bit more flat and bland than I remember it being. This is just very medium. In like the 5 to a 6 range, you can still smell it, but it's not super strong like Powerhouse. I just remember the old one being much stronger, but once again, could be like a nostalgic bias element in there. But I would say medium, 5 to 6 is kind of where this lingers around. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit more stronger and had a little bit more punch to it, but it's just not quite there. If you're not as picky or discerning as I am, I think you'll probably still enjoy this. If you did enjoy the original one, it's still close enough. And obviously, if you've never tried the original one from 10 years ago, then you don't know any different. So it might still be pleasant and nice to you. So I wouldn't let, like, I guess my old history kind of taint this review. But for me, like, from the memory that I was going off of the old one that I used to love and buy so much of, that one, I was like ready to buy like 6 of these and just like lock it in, because I was like, I don't know if this is ever going to come back again, but I think I'm just only fine with like repurchasing one more just to have in the stash, and I'm like totally fine with that, because it's just a little bit more generic than I remember it being. But that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts once you get this candle and burn it, and let me know if you see any differences or you think it's totally the same. Let me know everything down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.